Now, as many of you might know, we didn't receive any new Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and frankly, that did disappoint me quite a lot. Adding new Megas would have made the games loads better, and just giving that extra spice on top to make them even better than they already are. Now, I do have a feeling like new Mega Evolutions will be reserved for future games, like remakes like Diamond and Pearl, and other such things to come. But as for new generations, I feel like there would be no instantly new made Megas for them. But now, let's not jump the gun, shall we, too early, because we still have the rumored Pokemon Eclipse and Pokemon Stars, which are rumored to be ports of Sun and Moon for the Nintendo Switch coming out soon. Again, these are only rumors and there are no guarantees that they will be actually happening, but then again, who knows, if they do come, we can hopefully expect some sick new Megas in the, new versions, and new Mega Evolutions will be just insane. So today we're going to count down the top 10 Mega Evolutions for Pokemon Eclipse or Pokemon Stars. Now let's get right into it. Number 10. Oki Dokie, so coming in first, we're gonna have ourselves Serena, whom I feel like would be really deserving of an epic new Mega Evolution. And as you can see in this design by Locomotive 111, it would definitely be amazing. In this design, she's holding an axe in her hand and is described to have become way more fierce as a Pokemon. She's way more fierce with this design, and that she strikes anyone who has evil in their hearts, being, that loving Pokemon that she is. Either way, I do feel like this overall design here is just perfect, and adding the axe is really just a nice touch, as we don't see many Pokemon that do just carry around, objects and whatnot as they evolve, and especially not in a Mega Evolution in this situation. Either way, let's go to number 9. Number 9. Now, coming in number 9, we have ourselves Laurentis. Now, Laurentis has become many people's favorite Pokemon in Sun and Moon, but I gotta say that I feel like this Pokemon still could be even more amazing. In this design by Ace Trainer Ali, you can see Laurentis with just more flowers, like, flower petals, what you want to call them, on its back, and a almost crown-shaped flower on its head, which is just so badass, making it into like the queen of the forest and whatnot. I feel like Laurentis should definitely have its own Mega Evolution, but then again, you never know what could happen. It could actually come in the future. And if you guys remember, the forest totem Laurentis was one of the strongest things I personally ever taken on, and if you had a trouble with that thing, you would know how badass Laurentis is, and just giving this thing a Mega, I could barely imagine how just strong it would be. Either way, let's go to the next one. Number 8. Okay, so coming in number 8, we have ourselves the Sudai, and of course, being my favorite Pokemon in Lola, of course I'm going to put it on this list, especially with this epic design by Fatmon. He managed to create an epic Mega Evolution for the Sudai, which just makes it look even more powerful than it already is. The normal Sudai looks badass and just generally sneaky and cool, but this version and this Mega Evolution just looks so much more brave and powerful. It's like if you had the Sudai go from being Robin Hood to a huge badass warrior Viking or some shit, which just really looks amazing. I feel like this design is my favorite on this list, and it just looks incredible. Either way, let's go to number 7. Number 7. Now, let's get right into number 7, and coming up next is going to be the Mega Evolution for Bakerbot, which I gotta say is very nice. In this design, just this Mega design overall, the Bakerbot turns a bit smaller, but in one way it receives way more frontal claws, and also we get to see its mouth just fully open, and honestly just looks so menacing. It just looks so scary, because remember, this thing is a bug, like it's a giant ass bug, and it just looks crazy. Either way, I feel like this version would be probably a bit slower than the normal Bakerbots, and on the other hand though, it would probably have higher defense, as the extra claws probably give it more defense, and probably maybe more damage perhaps, but I feel like its speed overall will probably get lowered, as the more spikes it has on its head, it'd probably be just chubbier and harder to move around, so its speed might be lowered, but I think its damage and defense might be higher. Either way, let's go to number 6. Number 6. Now, coming at number 6, we have ourselves Mudsdale. Now, I don't have a design to show you guys, but I definitely could just imagine a design in my head. I can imagine a Mudsdale having more, like, of that black, glorious hair on it. Like, that thing is just amazing. And I can imagine just, other than that, in design, it could just maybe just add more body parts to it. Not maybe body parts as in like legs and whatnot, but just maybe add things to it to make it look even more badass. I can kind of imagine, you know, this thing probably having more speed on it, just increased speed if it got the Mega Evo. Of course, even damage would probably be increased, but I don't know about, you know, special defense, all that shit, and special attack and all that stuff you could add on top of that. I don't really know what would, you know, fit well on Mudsdale, but I feel like a Mega Evolution, just the design would probably be insane. And also, just the stat-based stuff would probably be increased, like, tremendously, because we already know that Mudsdale is a very, very good competitive Pokemon overall. And I feel like it would really deserve to get a Mega Evolution in Stars and Eclipse. Number 5. Oki Dokie, so coming at number 5, we have ourselves Toxapex. Now, Toxapex was definitely one of the best additions to Sun and Moon, in my opinion, and not only was it a strong Pokemon, but it was also one of the hardest things to catch. He's got one of probably the coolest designs, in my opinion. I could definitely imagine a Mega Evolution for Toxapex being way more bulky, and perhaps Toxapex enclosing itself inside of that, you know, toxic stuff it has, like toxic skin and whatnot it's got. Like, just the general design being more enclosed in one way or another. I don't really know what I could, like, kind of point out here that could give you a better idea in your head, but I just feel as if a Toxapex Mega Evolution is something that probably will happen in the future. This thing is loved. People like this thing, and I personally love it, and just a general Mega Evolution would probably work well on it. And I do have a hard time imagining how this thing would work in, say, you know, perhaps the competitive side of things. I kind of really don't know what could work well on it, but I feel like just overall, if they just did some changes to the design, added some things to the stats, this thing could be probably very useful in competitive play. I don't know how useful it is at the moment, but I feel like a Mega might help that side of things. Either way, let's go to the next one. Number 4. Now, coming at number 4, we have ourselves Selobgo, and I would definitely say that this is one of the strongest looking Pokemon in this game. It's got a sleek design, and I love that. And a Mega for this thing, I can barely imagine what it would look like. Selobgo has definitely got to be on my top 5 or top 10 most favorite new Pokemon in a Lola, and it just looks even, oh, it just looks so amazing. I can just imagine a Mega Evolution looking badass. I can either imagine it having maybe like something like spikes on its body, or perhaps something more sleek. Like, the design is already very, very like clean and sleek and very, you know, thin, but imagine it having a design that, you know, is even sleeker and even just like, you know, kind of a slithery feeling to it. I can just not imagine what that would be like, and I feel like a Mega Selobgo definitely could happen if we got ourselves Pokemon Stars and Eclipse. Let's go to the next one. Number 3. Okay, so coming number 3, we have ourselves Mimikyu. Now, coming in here is going to be a design that I've shown before, but that I feel like could probably just work as a Mega Evolution as well. Now, Mimikyu is definitely one of the best and creepiest new additions to, you know, Sun and Moon and just the Pokemon universe in general, and it definitely strikes me as a potentially cool Mega Evolution for this thing, having this design on the screen here. In the design, we can see how the kind of just ominous and just larger version of Mimikyu has just that cool-ass feeling to it, and you know, maybe even working as an evolution would be cool as well, but I think a Mega like this would be just so badass and would just make it look so much stronger. Now, in its normal form, we know that Mimikyu is just creepy, but at the same time, it's very cute. But in the Mega form, it would just look horrifically scary, and I'd honestly just say it would be perfect. If I say so myself, of course, it would just be perfect. I love it. A Mega Mimikyu could perhaps make it a bit stronger as well, as current Mimikyu is not really the strongest of Pokemons. But either way, let's just go to number 2. Number 2. Okay, so coming to number 2, we have ourselves Golisopod. Now, Golisopod is just amazing, and it strikes me as a definitely just badass Pokemon to just have as a Mega Evolution. Golisopod has a very large design in this image you can see here, and if I may say so myself, it does look great. Just generally, if Golisopod got a Mega Evolution, it would probably be badass, and I can imagine that it would have an increase in special defense, as it has, you know, just these extra claws to protect itself with, but it definitely also have a decrease in speed, as it might be harder for it to move around with so many extra things on it. I still think, though, that this would be a badass Mega Evolution with probably, like, incredibly, you know, increased stats and just incredible design, like, flow in general. Either way, let's go to number 1. Number 1. And coming number 1, we have ourselves Pelos, and I gotta say, this is a perfect spot for this Pokemon. Just imagine a Mega Pelos, and honestly, wow. I have no clue how it would work, but I think it would be badass. And I don't really know how it would actually just benefit this Pokemon if it had a Mega Evolution stat-wise, but I feel like a design could just be, like, incredible. Imagine a giant castle with perhaps, like, a little cute little bridge on it somewhere. It would just be adorable with little cute little toys and whatnot. Or perhaps you want a more menacing design with a scary large whirlpool of darkness in the middle of the design where all the foes would be consumed. Well, either way, I do think that Pelosan definitely would be cool with a Mega design. It would really fit it. And I don't know why, but I have a really, really good feeling this might happen in the future. Like, a Mega big castle is just badass. I think it would perfectly work, honestly. I love Pelosan. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from Lola. And honestly, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be very disappointed in Game Freak. Either way, that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below. If you want to see more top 5 and top 10 videos, do also subscribe. And if you did not agree with this list, please let me know in the comment section your own top 10 list of Pokemon from the Lola region that you want to see get Mega Evolutions. Either way, my name has been RuffledRowlit, and I'll catch you guys the next time. Bye-bye.